Okay, so I'm going to give this a go here. I'm going to try to do a notability lesson here, but try to record the screen so you guys can kind of watch it a little bit more live on YouTube. Hopefully it works out for you. Okay, so I was just kind of looking ahead at that 3.5F, and most of it you guys have already done. Again, we're not really doing anything new here, just kind of some new application of things you guys already know. But I thought maybe 5C off of that worksheet would be worth taking a look at. And this is a systems of equations problem, and you're being asked to solve it by substitution. So what you have is you have both of them set equal to y, right? So whether you want to call it substitution, some of you may have heard equal values method. But if they are both equal to y, then you can set them equal to each other. So that's the first thing we're looking to do. And then from there, you're down to just one variable, x, which then we can solve for that variable. Whenever you have that x squared term in there, good chance you are going to have to somehow solve a quadratic. So best way to do that is usually to get all your terms on one side and then have one side set equal to 0. So that's going to get you to this quadratic set equal to 0. And now you're set up to either solve by factoring, which would be your diamond problem, generic rectangle. You could solve by quadratic formula. I think a lot of you are getting pretty comfortable with completing the square, so we're going to solve it by completing the square. So we're going to add that 5 back over to the right side. And then we're taking our little b divided by 2 squared formula. And that plus 4 is what we have to add to both sides of the equation. Okay, got to keep it balanced. So got to add it to both sides. And then keep in mind, you know your factor. Okay, we've set this up to be a perfect square trinomial. So you know that is going to be your factor right there. And since it is a perfect square trinomial, you can just take and square root both sides. Okay, that's going to give you an x plus 2 equal to plus or minus the square root of 9, which is 3. Go ahead, subtract the 2 from both sides there. And then you have a negative 2 plus 3 would be 1. Negative 2 minus 3 would be a negative 5. Now, keep in mind, we are solving a system of equations here. Now, if you're solving a system of equations, your solution has to be a point, meaning a coordinate pair, so an x and a y value. Okay, so we've solved for our x values. We're going to want to go back and solve for our y values. So take the simpler of the two equations, which is your linear, negative x plus 9, and we're going to substitute those two x values. Get that out of the way a little bit. Okay, so you have a 1, which would give you y equals 8. So there's one of your points, 1 comma 8. Take the same linear equation there, the negative x plus 9. We're going to substitute a negative 5. So keep in mind you have a negative in the equation, plus you're substituting a negative value. So that's going to give you positive 5 plus 9 for 14. And there's another point, negative 5, 14. So those points are your solutions. Okay, and as you can probably already see, I just went ahead and graphed this on the calculator just to kind of show you what we're talking about. So there's our quadratic, the blue line, x squared plus 3x plus 4. And that's obviously a nice parabola shape. And then you have your linear, negative x plus 9 in red. And when we're solving the system, we're looking for those points of intersection. So right there is your 1 comma 8. Okay, that matches up with the algebra. And right here is your negative 5, 14, which also matches up with the algebra. So when you're talking about a linear equation and a quadratic equation, you have a couple possibilities. You have what we have here, which is two solutions, 2 points of intersection. you could potentially have where it's a tangent line, so it's only intersecting in one point, one solution. And then you still have the possibility of no points of intersection, which would be a no solution. All right, that's really it for now. That should hopefully get you through the 3.5F, and I'll get the answer key posted up tomorrow, and we can try maybe a Google Meet to go over some questions. But I hope everybody's doing well, staying healthy, and yeah, let me know if you got questions. We'll make the most of whatever we can do. Thanks, guys.